What's up, fellas? Welcome to the first part of building my Agent Venom armor series. For this part, I'm going to go into where I found my files to build it, and where I found my files, what I did to my files to alter them, and exactly how I sliced them to get onto the slicer. I actually do have them all printed out currently, so I know that my process works. Hence, why I'm confident enough to make this video. So, let's go to the first part. Where did I find my files? So, actually, I'm going to go to the base file first. So, if you look right here, I actually bought this file for $30 on Cults.3D. This is made by a designer named Hayden. Uh, it's actually spelled very similar to my name, so I'm assuming it's Hayden. But yeah, I was able to buy this, and if you look closely to it, you may notice that this. I mean, also if you check out his profile, you may notice that this isn't exactly built for cosplay purposes in mind. I'm pretty sure this was actually meant to be made for an action figure, but fortunately enough, everything here is hollow, so you could easily stick your arms and body in most of this, and it'd work just fine. The shoes are solid, but why are you wearing 3D printed boots? And there's also a few artifacts on this file that I'm personally not fond of. Uh, Not to say that it's wrong or anything. It's just that why would I wear 3D printed straps and 3D printed belt? Luckily, you can get rid of the belt completely. It's its own file, as you see right here. And I'm gonna go into how I remove the straps later. Also, I didn't want the knives on the back of the thing, so I also removed those as well. But like I said, everything else is completely perfect for scaling it up and wearing it. And I'm gonna go into how I scaled it towards myself um, very soon. So the next file is the front of my helmet. Um, on Thingiverse, I am by Shadeling right here. He has this Agent Venom series right here as well, completely for free. Thank goodness. And this is the only place. Oh, oops. This is the only place where I was able to find a free Agent Venom face shield mask thing. So yeah, this is great. But personally, I didn't want just a mask. I wanted the entire helmet. And that brings me to the last file I used, which is this Red Hood helmet right here, made by Killiness. I'm going to leave links to all of these files in the description. Check out, support these creators. They deserve it for making these amazing files. And I'm very grateful that these people left these highly polished, great looking files for free on Thingiverse. Um, but yeah, that's where I got my files. So part two was, again, my gripes with this right here. Uh, Again, like, this is clearly meant for an action figure, not for people wearing it. So why would they make this out of fabric or not include them? But since I am making this in real life, I have to make it a little bit more realistic. And by doing that, I have to get rid of parts that would be made out of fabric. And also, I just personally don't want these knives right here. So how did I do that? Uh, as you can see, I went into Mesh Mixer, and I imported the chest plate as is raw. It's not even scaled yet. And what I did was I went into Edit, and then I went into Generate Face Groups. So as you can see right here, you it separates parts of the armor into little pieces, and what it does is it makes it so as a point these parts are selectable. So I'm going to hit accept. Also, as you saw, you can play with the threshold right there. If you're going to do this yourself, you're going to have to play with it a lot. There's a lot of little nickel and diming that you have to do in order to make this perfect. But this is just, to show the rough estimate of what I did. So I did that, went into select, and double clicked on these groups. You see it clicked the entire strap, and I just hit delete. And I just hit delete. There we go. So you see it got rid of that entire back strap, which, like I said, I wanted because I want to replace this with real fabric straps later. And you know, I did this for the other straps, like this one. Could you don't? Okay, it froze for a second. Yeah, I did this for the other straps. Just believe me, bro. I don't feel like doing this again. But yeah, I got rid of the other straps using this method. I got rid of these back parts using this method. As you see, it is completely separated. So with enough time and effort, you can delete it. Also, I didn't mention this, but I used this exact same method to get rid of the spider logo itself. Um, this isn't necessary at all if you're making your own piece. And matter of fact, you'd probably keep it. But I have special nefarious plans for this spider logo. So I also did use this method to get rid of it. Hey, so I actually did go in and delete all the parts I said I was gonna delete. The only reason I did this is because I did want to show you guys the next steps. But as you can see, like, I got the knives off, I got the straps off, and as you can see also, it's super ugly. There's a bunch of floating parts everywhere. So what you can do to get rid of the floating parts and in order to do that, you want to press separate shells. So I'm just going to give that a minute to load, and it's in the edit tool, edit thingy majig, whatever this is, edit bar right there. So that's where you find the separate shells. So as you can see, it separated the shells for me. So I want to go from the second one all the way down to the last one. Shift click all of that. It's going to take a minute to load. And then you can just delete it. There we go. And as you can see, there's still some debris here. We'll fix that later. And again, like, if I were doing this for real, like this little thing in the back, I would have gotten rid of it. But again, I did it super rough and dirty just so I could show you guys the next steps. So now that we got rid of all the floating parts, next you want to click on this again, go to edit, and the next important part is making it solid. So this also takes a while, but this is how we fill in all of those holes. As you can see, it's did a pretty well job of filling up those cracks in a neat way. Again, I did it super rough, so there's a lot more wrinkles and holes than there normally would be for me. But what I'd like to do is I like to go to solid accuracy, crank that bad boy to max, update, see what it looks like. Come on. Still not super good. There's another option here. Let's see. Mesh density, crank that bad boy to max too, update it. Yep, there's a lot more to generate now, so it's probably going to look really good this time around. Alright, come on, show yourself. And there we go, nice and smooth yet again. And like, it's even smooth some of the back here, but again, like, I was super fast when I was removing it this time around, so it's a lot uglier than the one I actually have. But this just goes to show that, you know, you go through these steps and you can get pretty good results and also still get rid of all these artifacts. Also, you may also notice that these things right here, unfortunately, I had to get rid of the little bars that connect these two, and that's a super easy fix as well. Once you get all of this edited the way you like, you can import this file into 3D Builder and literally just take some tubes and connect these two parts together. Just, you know, add a little cylinder and simulate the connecting piece, and you'll be pretty set. But yeah, that brings me on to step 3, which was actually putting this stuff together. So this is not scaled by any means. I did make it larger by just clicking everything and then scaling it up using this right here, and I did adjust it to my height personally. So it's like around 5'6", 5'7", I forgot which one it is. And then after I did that, I just laid it in a way that looks similar to how I'd want it. You'd see by this process, I actually didn't think to add the red hood back yet. That actually comes later in the process, but uh, yeah, I just literally got a rough, everything laid out roughly so I can see what I had to work with. Then that brings me on to step 4, armor smith. So you can see I have my fully processed chest plate and helmet here. Uh, okay, let me delete that link. Yeah, I have my fully processed chest and plate and helmet right here. And you can see I got rid of the spider logo like I said I would. The straps are missing, the knife part are missing. Yeah, that's from me modeling it in a mesh mixer down here. But as you can see, I have everything scaled towards my body, my proportions, and as you can see, it looks a little different from how I expected, but still, I think this will be a pretty good cosplay by the time I'm done with it. You'd probably also want to get this helmet type thing that I have here instead of having a face shell. Or you don't. I mean, if that's so, then ignore me for the rest few minutes. The way that I was actually able to do that is, let me drag both of these down into 3D Builder. Oh, if I forgot to mention, 3D Builder is the program I've been using for all my cutting and scaling. But let's reorientate this, move it back. So essentially, what I did here was I scaled these to roughly the same size. I'm not going to fully do it. Again, if you want to do this yourself, do it yourself just using the information I'm telling you. But essentially, what I did was I scaled these to roughly the same size, clicked off of my Venom face form, went into here, went into edit, and they have this amazing split feature. Orientated it vertically, not vertically, yeah, vertically, and kept the bottom. And as you can see, I'm left with the back of the red hood thing. Then what I did was I scaled it even more, tried to like line it up as perfect as possible. You know, bam. You know, it's still disgusting, but you get my point here. I also did cut off these bottom parts, and I was able to like orientate it and then merge it into this other helmet, uh, like so. So again, you would go in, actually do this. I'm just showing you roughly what I did. After I did that, I actually took this, went into Mesh Mixer. I'm just going to use this right here. Another little 3D model that I unga bunga. But so pretend that this is the helmet because I don't feel like actually finding the file. I took the uneven helmet because frankly, no matter how much work you do here, you'll always have these grooves or things in the corner, especially the things in the corner because the helmets simply just aren't the same shape. But once you get it as close as possible, what you can do is you take those, you put them into here, all is one file obviously. So there is actually on here, there's an option to merge. So click, merge. So again, you got it perfect. You merge them, you bring them in the mesh mixer, and you can use the sculpt tool right here. And I use the shrink smooth, and you can like smooth these things together like so. It actually made my file look better. I might keep that. But yeah, you can smooth those grooves and lines together using the smooth tool. If you find it necessary, you can also use the draw tool to like hide stuff using it. You know, pretty much sculpt it to a point that it looks like just one solid thing, and that's actually how I got to the point where this actually looks as smooth as it is. If you zoom in, you can still see the discrepancy there between the two helmets. Like there's a little like notch right there, and then also like if you look really closely, you can see this seam still of me merging the helmets, and that's purely because uh, the Red Hood helmet is so much smoother than the Agent Venom mask that it kind of like, you can kind of see the difference in between the two. But again, it's good enough. So that's how I prepared that. My last and final step was actually slicing these for 3D printing. So right here, I have a very crude reconstruction of all my slices. If I select all, you can see all this little slices and selections that I made. So you can see I split this in half, just usually. I split this in half, like just really basic cuts you can see right here. And I made it just small enough to fit on my 3D printer. I ended up slicing this in half after I merged it. That's hilarious. The back part, you can see I split into like many different pieces. The chest plate is all kinds of cut up with the neck and the chest. Let me deselect all of these. And then like if you really want to see parts of what I sliced in the chest, you got like that right there, that right there. Pretty much, unga bunga using the split tool on 3D Builder. I was able to split this up into multiple digestible parts for my 3D printer. And last and foremost, alright, cool. So here I have, so this is actually my bicep piece that I split in half as you saw earlier. I can go to it really quick. Let me just, geez, alright, come on, work with me. Lay flat. There we go. I can just hit this, move it over. You may notice my build plate is a little big. That's because the 3D printer that I have access to at the time is the Lowe's bot. Crap, I don't even know what it's called, man. It's the Lowe's bot something. If you look it up, you'll probably find it. It'll be the first result. But I also have Ender 3 Max, which is actually slightly bigger, which honestly, if you're 3D printing for cosplay, I recommend you get an Ender 3 Max. But as you can see, I'm able to print two pieces at a time using the Ender 3 Max's large build plate. So that's that's the scale I'm working with. So I can afford to print two pieces at a time, and really, as you can see right here, what I would be printing out with if I use that is these two pieces right here. And that really saves a lot of time because especially if you're working with just one printer, you don't want to have to print this, next day print this, next day print this, etc. So if you have a large build printer, you can slice these up as is, but then you can use two of these slices at once and actually print out the entire calf in one day rather than having to set up multiple prints. So that's the next level of how that's just how I save time in actually printing this out and making it more practical getting this project done. But yeah, that's it. That's how I got my entire armor, the files for my armor ready. I went in, I sliced it. Settings are completely up to you. Personally, I printed them all out at 2% infill, but that's completely up to your discretion. I'm not going to tell you how to, slice these there. But yeah, that's it. And like I said, I have it all printed out. I'm going to super glue everything together and get it raw, and I'm going to make an update video on that, show you how it looks. But until then, I'll see you next time. See ya.